sensors have kicked in because we just spotted this has been dumped opposite over at Barnstable. We don't know who dumped it or who's brought it here. Someone's probably going to claim it as soon as I start recording it. But it looks like a genuine barn find. It's proper straight down the sides. It must be it's either 1.6 with the 1.9 alloys. Oh, it is a 1.9. We're all over this. Everyone can come out of their units. It's got a new exhaust on it, Pete. It's got a brand new exhaust on it. Yeah, as Pete says, it's straight down the sides, big time. Oh, someone's on a... I won't disturb the dust, it's not my car. Someone might want to sell it like that. But from what I can see through, the interior looks in good nick. It's got the leather. Oh dear. This is the kind of thing we all want to find, isn't it? Let's not hope it's not headed for in there. I'm leaving the Barnstable Industrial Estate. Everyone's gone absolutely bike mad in the last couple of weeks. These boys have got more bikes than they know what to do with. Right, word on the street is the 205 is Tom's over at Island Motorcycles. So let's go and tap Tom up and see what the score is. Right, so story is, it is their car. And it's been in storage for an age. And 2 or 3 times he's meant to get to a point of restoring it, but never did. Now, what's happened with it was bought by a Peugeot mechanic who bought it, and it had a diesel put in it. Someone had put a diesel in it, so he's actually gone back and put a proper 1.9. And he said I was allowed to pop the bonnet and have a little look, because he said it is all mint, but I don't know how I put the bonnet on it. So he did say I could have a little look. Hold on, let's see if I can get in it. No cracking on the tyres or anything. Wherever it was stored really well. There's a bonnet release. Yeah, seats are all good. Nice motor. Here we go, I'm in. Oh yeah, it looks all really new under here. Everything under here looks all like genuine Peugeot bits that have been put back in. Yeah, he reckons he's going to get it up and running. He's had enough now, and he's going to get it up and running. So we'll update you on this if I find that he does actually get round to restoring it. But I think underneath this, apparently under all this, the paint is absolutely mint. Apart from the fact someone's put a bonnet from an automatic 205 on it, so that needs to be changed. But yeah, that's what you call a proper barn find, isn't it? Right guys, I said I had a reveal for a new project, so here it is. And I think despite the cover, a few of you may already have guessed what this is. Let's get the cover off and have a closer look. So here we have it, a Citroen 2CV dolly. As I said, I think a few of you may have guessed just off the shape alone. And as you can see, she's in a bit of a state. So this 2CV was one of Stuart's customers that he was going to have restored. But he's a lovely chap, Daniel, he won't mind me saying it. He's a car nut. And he just buys project after project after project. Alfa Romeo's his real passion. But he got this 2CV with the intention of doing it up for a good friend. But he found his friend a better 2CV in the meantime. And this has been in storage, awaiting a start. And as you can see, it's been already dismantled quite considerably. We are missing the front wings, I think. I've got to go through and find everything we've got. But I think we've got everything bar the front wings. They were so rotten, I think they were thrown away. Nice thing with the 2CVs is like the MGBs, you can buy pretty much every single panel for them. But I have to admit, I'll just give backstory on it. So what happened is Daniel said, do you want to buy the 2CV? Because he knows I like 2CVs. And I'll give you a bit more background as to why 2CVs are important to me in a minute. But he said, do you want to buy the 2CV, James? I'm not going to get round to doing it. And I bought it for the grand sum of £300. And included in that sale were, where are they? over here somewhere, some new floor pans for it. I've got new floor pans for it, and I've got all new chrome hubcaps for it as well. But obviously, like I said, it is a major project. So £300. Now my thoughts were 2CV, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the prices a restored 2CV goes for at the moment. Even a good runner driver that's a bit tatty around the edges is 5 or 6k. So I thought for that kind of money, I couldn't go far wrong. And I kind of remembered it being just a little bit tatty around the edges as well, but it's actually quite a bit rustier than I thought it was. Pretty much everything needs doing. Now it has got a galvanised chassis, which most of these have had that conversion already. And like I said, I've got the new floor pans, but I think there's quite a few other panels I'm going to have to get. But looking at it last night, they're all readily available off the shelf, like I said. So why a 2CV? Well, the 2CV is actually the car I got married in. I got married in a 2CV. I got married in a Charleston, which is my favourite, which is the black and dark red one. But it actually goes further back than that. The 2CV we got married in was one that I bought for my father. And what happened was, unfortunately, in my early 20s, my mother passed away of the big C, cancer. And which was, she'd had it unfortunately a couple of times, and I think the third time round she just, couldn't fight it anymore. So obviously left my dad on his own, and one of the passions he always had was for a 2CV. So I actually found a Charleston out in Ilfracombe with only 20,000 miles on it, might even be less than that, that was structurally very sound, just had a bad hood and dull paint. So I buffed it all up, hosed it all out, cleaned it, got it MOT'd and taxed, and gave it to my father as a gift, which he was chuffed to bits with. But unfortunately, he also passed away of cancer only about a year and a few months after, and never really got to use the vehicle. And now both my parents are probably the reason the way I am, to be frank, about business. They both ran their own businesses, and believe it or not, they both actually gave up the rat race in London. They probably watched too much of The Good Life, moved to Cornwall with us kids, and both set up their own businesses. My mother had a bakery delicatessen, hence my love of cakes, and actually did cakes for Rick Stein's places down in Padstow, that kind of thing. And my father had a business. He'd worked for Alcan as a sales rep. He actually set up his own foil cutting printing business, and I remember sitting watching him do the drawings for Rodder, the original drawings for the Rodder lady on the clotted cream and the creams. Those of you down in the south will definitely know the Rodder stuff. And he used to print the lids and stuff for them. He set up his own business doing that. So they were both entrepreneurs, and they both worked really, really hard. And like I say, I was incredibly lucky to have them and set me an example when it comes to work and work ethic, and also honesty in doing business, because I think they both got done over in their times by dishonest other business people, but their business dealings were completely honest. So back to the case on point, obviously it was a bit of a shock losing them that close together. And what we did with the 2CV is, because he'd never got to use it, is we sent it to Frome 2CV Centre, and they did a full restoration on it. They did a complete repaint on it, got it all up and running right, and we used it as our wedding car. And I had it for quite a while afterwards. I only really ever used it every now and then. I remember doing some repairs on a house and having great big lengths of 2x4 sticking out the road and driving it on the bypass. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed driving 2CVs. And the reason being, you can't catch up with the traffic in front of you, so you never get held up. So you can go as fast as you like. And it's just the simplicity of them I absolutely love as well. So when Daniel said about this one, obviously, back to the story of my old one. What happened with my old one is it ended up sitting in the garage far too much, didn't get used. And I sold it to a chap who shipped it out to Australia. And even back then, I'm talking a good, it must be 12, 14 years ago. I think I got in the thick end of 6 or 7 grand for it. Now, you can see these things now, restored, are well over 10. So yeah, so when Daniel offered it, I thought, let's grab it and do a little resto project on it. Now, I was in two minds with it, whether to go back standard, which I know is where the value is, or motorbike conversion. You can get the Moto Guzzi engine, can't you? And the BMW engine, and they do kits to convert them to that, which would be a lot of fun. Or obviously there's the obvious one at the moment, which is electric, but that is incredibly expensive. and I don't think I'll get my money back out of it. So looking over the car, what have we got going on? Well, obviously we've got rusty floor pans, and like I say, we have got fresh floor pans for them. I don't know how bad they are without getting everything out, but we've got rust in areas like this. Again, once I wire brush it down, it might be that it's not actually that bad. I don't know how much of that is hold. This down here, I can't remember from factory whether that is supposed to join the floor or not. I need to check that out. These edges here are crusty again. I don't know how far in that goes. We'll have to wire brush it all down and see how far into the metalwork it goes. But I think on these, isn't it, you can take the body off the chassis, which is obviously the first move. I've got the engine and it's in the back, so they've changed it into a Beetle. There it is. And one thing I'd quite like the idea of doing is a rebuild on the engine, because I've not done an engine rebuild before. Take you guys along for the journey. I know that's a simple one to work on, maybe with Lee's help over at Barham Engines. He showed me how to do it. We could do an engine rebuild. But then my sensible head kicks in and says what I should really do is clean and buff all the paint, all the panels, the hood, bolt as much as I can back on, get a pair of second-hand wings on it and sell it on as a project, because I haven't got the time to do it. And to be honest, it'd be better for me to just go and buy a better example in the first place than it is to spend time on this, because I've still got my MGB to finish and I've got my other MGB that needs some work as well. So I guess let's use the power of the people, guys. Comment down below, what do you think is the best thing to do with this? I mean, if we do start working on it, it'll have to be pushed away in a corner and it'll probably be another year before we get onto it. Or like I say, we could see if we can make some profit on it. I've got to think that if I bolted everything back on and made it look more presentable and sold it on as a project, I could make a little bit of money there with probably only an afternoon's work of bolting stuff back in again. Or do we go full leather and do hell for leather and go with the old motorbike conversion on it? I'll be interested to see how much love there is for 2CVs in amongst my viewers as well. So there you go, that's the project. Now both these cars need to move into the other unit, because this one's got the toilet and the kitchen in it, and this will be the nice presentation area for customers to come into. That will be the unit that's shut off and has these kind of things pushed at the back under covers until we're ready to do them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the 2CV project. Just before I end the video, actually, what I must say is a massive thank you to all of you that went on the CG Cars Facebook page and left those reviews. That's absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate that. Like I said, leaving Alfa Ragazzi, all the reviews for all the car sales I've done had gone on Stuart's Alfa Ragazzi page, so I had no reviews on my own page. So it was real value for you guys to go on and put those comments out on and boost that page up. Some of you asked about websites, so still have a website. Don't forget arcarsales.co.uk, which will change to cgcarsales.co.uk. But that's where I post all of my cars for sale. I post the cars that are coming in for sale on there before they're ready as well. Normally before I even put them out on Facebook and Marketplace. A lot of you ask where I advertise my cars to get my sales. 99% of my sales, I'd say, come via Facebook Marketplace. In the price bracket I'm at, in sub £5,000, and I know you get a lot of "Are you interested? Is this still for sale?" kind of thing. Is this still available? Sorry, you do get a lot of that. But the nice thing about it is it doesn't cost me anything. I do have a motors account, £150 a month, which does generate me sales as well. I will say that. Auto Trader, meh. With my stuff, I don't know. I just don't seem to have a lot of luck on Auto Trader. So for me, it's motors and Facebook, but a huge amount of them go out on word of mouth. And once you've got a good reputation locally via Facebook, you do get a lot of recommendations for people to come out. So, and that's why it was so important to me to have good reviews on my Facebook page. So massive thanks again for everyone for doing that. That's the end of this little short video. Lots more content coming because we've got lots of cars coming in. BCA have let me down again. They were supposed to deliver the Dacia Sandero Stepway, and I had a missed call from someone that said they were here with the car, and they gave me 20 minutes to get over here, even though I'd been told I'd get an hour's notice in advance. And they've now taken the car back to Bridgewater. I've called Bridgewater and they say they don't have the car. So, and that was a day ago, and I'm still left in limbo as to where that is, and I've paid for delivery to here. So I'm hoping they're not going to expect me to fit a bill from delivery from Bridgewater. And the annoying thing is, Adrian was down there picking up one of my other new purchases, and I could have hopped in the car and gone and got it with him, but they didn't even know they had it in there, and apparently cars can get dumped out the front and they're not booked in. Seems a bit of a strange system for a company of that size, but there you go. Anyway, thanks as always for watching, guys. Catch you again very soon.